That's not all the fun I had this weekend, Brian. I swear to God, if I'm lying, I'm flying. This story that I'm about to tell you is true. And it is a sad, sad statement of affairs on, I think, the entire American population at this point, because people have just gone out of their fucking rabbit-ass minds. Do you remember, I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but we talked about this goof indie outlaw girl wrestler that doesn't want to use her gimmick name on Twitter, that used her real name. And the statement she made was, her name's Jordan. Well, one of her names is Jordan Grace. Her real name is apparently Trisha Parker. I say apparently because that's the one she puts on her Twitter. And then it says @Jordan Grace. So you don't know who you're fucking talking to. But she's the one several weeks ago that said, well, I think somebody asked her, why are you using both of your names? Why don't you stick to your gimmick name? She said, I think people have moved past the point where they don't realize that we're playing a character and we have a real life. Also, one of these goddamn high school drama class fucking, cosplay wrestlers, right? And I had sniped at her about that. Well, then I guess it was Monday, maybe. So it wasn't the way it is Monday. I turn on Twitter and there's somebody, hey, Cornette, what do you think of this? This fucking goof is back on there, and listen to what I wrote this down so that I'd make sure I quoted this right. This is what she tweeted. I am 100% for calling wrestling a performance art rather than a sport, in quotation marks. The insistence upon calling it a sport is really holding wrestling back, in my opinion. Discuss with me. And somebody actually had sent me that, and it said, hey, somebody should shit in this dumb fuck's gear. I mean, performance art bag, right? Somebody should shit in her fucking bag for a complete disrespect of and shit on the fucking business that she's been allowed in for whatever reason. So when they said that, then somebody else wrote back and said, gave the old Terry Funk line / Johnny Valentine. I can't make them believe pro wrestling is real, but I can make them believe that I'm real. I believe in Terry Funk. I don't believe in what's-her-face. And I saw that, and I said, now, watch that there, fella. That's butterface to you. And then, because I actually had shit to do, I got up away from Twitter and went to do my work, right? I come back 3 or 4 hours later and sit down. I am trending on Twitter. I was, the little thing on the left-hand side, trends for you to follow. Cornette was trending on Twitter. Do you know why I was trending on Twitter?
Not exactly, yeah.
I was trending on Twitter because I called some outlaw mud show girl wrestler, or didn't even call her directly to her. I mentioned her to someone else, Butterface. That's it. I was trending on Twitter because of Butterface. I called Dana Loesch of the National Rifle Association a soulless, heartless cunt that drank the blood of murdered children for profit. I didn't trend on Twitter, but I called this douchebag, this fine young lady, Butterface, and I trend on Twitter. And people have just lost their fucking minds. And of course, it's part of it is, and she wants to get over, I know, and all these outlaw mud show cosplay wrestlers know the way to get over is by, having me talk about them. But she's replied, right? How do you even still have a job at this point? Good luck with your women's division, MLW. Well, last I noticed, MLW didn't have a women's division. And if they do have a women's division, they'll probably hire women wrestlers that are serious about the fucking business, just like the men wrestlers hopefully all are. Well, we found out not all of them, but the ones I like. Instead of fucking play wrestlers like her that think she's in a goddamn high school production of, fucking the incomparable fucking Mr. Burnside or whatever. But anyway, how do you even have a job? She didn't even, if she was in the wrestling business and somebody fucking knocked her, Sherry Martel, you know what she would have said? She would have said, hey, needle dick, if that's what you got to say that to me in my face and I'll football kick your balls up in the back of your fucking throat. But instead, how do you even still have a job at this? So you can tell she's just an insufferable twat. But anyway, so I wrote back and said, basically, a lot easier than you have a job, because I take my business seriously and I don't act like a fucking actor or a performance artist, unlike you and your fucking cosplay friends. And also said, and Sherry Martell could have kicked the shit out of you without even trying. Right? The fuck off. And anyway, and then of course the fucking guy from England that does jobs to fucking girls on a weekly basis and then thinks people are still going to take him seriously. He has to chime in with "fuck you," you know, all that stuff. He's an insufferable little cunt. And I told him, I said, "You're an insufferable little cunt, and not even the fucking good UK kind, but the smarmy, obnoxious United States kind." This fucking guy.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
I don't want to give him any more publicity, but he's a guy from England, and he calls himself The Product, and he has a cute little picture with his cute little rose next to his name. I guess he gives out roses to people. I don't fucking know. I told him to go play in traffic. It's the only way that he'd ever be in the middle of a fucking crowd. But anyway, so, and then the fucking, the TMZ guy, remember the TMZ wannabe guy? He fucking chimes in on it. And I can't even remember what he said, but I was like, remember we talked about him a couple weeks ago. He's always trying to swing on my jock, as they say. And he said something. I said, what? I figured, I know he doesn't know anything about wrestling, even though he writes about it. So I didn't expect him to know that this was an homage to my angle with Sunshine in 1985 in World Class. But I thought, since he's supposed to be a Hollywood guy, he would recognize that my angle with Sunshine in World Class in 85 and this was an homage to Andy Kaufman and his business in 82. So I said, well, what's the matter, dipshit? Just because your wife, he said I was misogynist because I called her a butterface. I'm a misogynist. I hate women. I said, just because your wife isn't in the kitchen rattling the pots and pans around doesn't mean that that's not the normal accepted place for the average American housewife. Come on, smarten up. That was the fucking Kaufman promo, either the week before or the week after he showed the people in Memphis how to use a toothbrush and toothpaste, right? Well, yeah, the women need to be rattling the pots and pans around. So I'm trying to wind this fucking idiot up. And he retweets that quote, the average American housewife should be in the kitchen rattling the pots and pans around, quote. And he follows it up, wow, just wow. Like I was serious. Like he didn't even get what I knew he wasn't going to get what I was doing anyway. But then there's all the people that listen to this program are getting on all of them like, you fucking morons. You know he's fucking with you because you're idiots. You don't know what he's fucking doing because you're clueless. But a lot of people were like, oh my God, how can somebody needs it? Like I'm the fucking Charles Manson, have this vile, disgusting human being. By the way, what is the definition of butterface, Brian? Because I didn't even know that some people don't know this, but give the definition of butterface.
Well, thank you for putting me on the spot here. I don't know if there's a firm definition, but the way I remember it being used when I would hear it randomly years ago by people I may or may not know was it was a girl who had an attractive body, but her face was another story.
Well, yeah, but basically everything looks good but her face. So in effect, but they took it, I guess, because of the butter contingent, butter being a high-fat food product, they took it that I was saying she was fat, which actually isn't even the meaning of butterface, because if everything's great but her face, then she wouldn't be fat, right? But it's the problem with actually, I was just doing a takeoff on what's her face, the guy called her, butterface. But actually, when you think about it, that is true. She does look fine, except for the face, because her face has that yappy fucking mouth in the middle of it that is constantly going, nyeh, 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 saying stupid things about a business that she shouldn't be involved in or allowed in because she doesn't respect it and she doesn't appreciate it. She thinks she's a fucking performance artist like the rest of them that pull their fucking bloody tampons out of their twats and stuff them in other people's mouths or stick blow pops up each other's asses or wrestle the invisible man or have invisible hand grenades or fucking do all of this other stupid shit. It looks like a fucking circus sideshow without the bearded lady. I guess Jordan Grace does not shave, so she's not the bearded lady. That's the fucking problem. But I was putting her over when you think about it, because if everything's okay, butterface, if she just shut that fucking yap of hers where it's not needed, then she might have a decent face too. But anyway, so I trended on Twitter and these people lost their fucking minds. And now, but let's put this in context. We have a lunatic, a criminal, mentally unstable lunatic in the White House. We have people getting shot down by high-powered automatic assault rifles and weapons of war on our streets on a daily basis. We may be going into a recession because of another Republican administration. The planet is melting. It was the hottest year on record last year. Problems. And these fucking cosplay wrestling fans melted down because I called a disrespectful twat who shouldn't be in a wrestling business because she doesn't appreciate it and doesn't even know what the fuck it is, butterface. That trended on Twitter. What has happened to people's fucking minds?
It's a soft society now, Jim.
As the snowflakes were melting, and it wasn't because of global warming. But anyway, so that's what everybody was up in arms about. And I then proceeded to have a bunch of fun with a lot of them because isn't it also ironic? And I'm not even an Alanis Morissette fan, but isn't it ironic that the fans who think, well, wrestling should be silly and fun and we should all laugh and just joke about it, they're the ones with no sense of humor. They're the ones that don't like to have fun, except when it's silly, stupid fun that makes the business and everybody in it look like imbeciles, like these fucking people. They don't like to have any fun. Well, I had some fun at all y'all's expense. Because let me just explain this one more time. Let me just try to explain this one more time. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I don't care if you're white, black, yellow, green, brown, blue, or polka dotted. If you approach the wrestling business like a goddamn performance art, like a fucking high school drama class or a community theater for simpletons, like silly, phony bullshit, disrespectfully, I will verbally fuck you up. I'm an equal opportunity cusser outer. If you don't have any respect for the wrestling business, I don't have any respect for you. And it's, as I mentioned last week on the program, because of the wrestlers, supposed wrestlers, wannabe wrestlers. Now they don't even want to be called wrestlers. Good, because I don't want to call you wrestlers. You shouldn't be. But when they lead by example, just like fucking President Pig shit, when they lead by example by saying this stuff is okay, that's where the fans get the idea it's okay. And that's where I want to let you know that it ain't okay with everybody. It ain't okay with me. It ain't okay with people that actually give a shit about what's happening to the fucking business and what you people are doing to it. And just because I'm the only one that doesn't need to suck up or kiss ass or go along to get a payday, because I obviously don't fucking need it, that's no reason to fucking, oh, he's a horrible human being. No, I'm just a truthful, factual human being. If you wanted to go out with your fucking dildos and your blow pops and your jock straps, your tampons and your invisible hand grenades, whatever, and go fuck up another line of work, somebody else's sport and profession, make it fucking silly and stupid, then that's fine with me because I don't have a dog in that fight. But when you're doing it to wrestling, I got a problem with that, and I'm going to say something about it. And for all of you people who think, oh my God, well, this man should be real. Who are you going to get me fired from? I work for myself, and I'm quite busy enough now. I wish you'd get me fired off a couple of things. Problem is, I'd have to fire me. But as far as what the rest of you fucking cosplay wrestling fans think, I could give a French fried titty fuck what you think of me. And Jordan Butterface, and can you just not hear Bruce Buffer saying that, and here she is, Jordan Butterface Grace. I think it flows. I think maybe, and as a matter of fact, we'll get to it. She's found a new gimmick, but.
Well, actually, it looks like from what I see here, she's already selling T-shirts with.
Yes, well, that's where I was going with this. Because I was able, that's why basically, if you cosplay wrestling fans have a problem with what I say, I'm sorry. I just don't have time to give a fuck, right? And if Jordan Butterface Grace or any of the rest of these fucking cosplay wrestlers resent me that bad because I don't have to go along with their bullshit because I don't need the work, then I'm sorry for that too. But as I've said many times before, if you don't want to be thought stupid, don't say and do stupid things. If you don't want to be a wrestler, you don't want to be in the wrestling business, then please don't be in it instead of fucking it up for everybody else. But I was able in this instance to smarten this chick up. I smartened this gal up. How condescending can I possibly be to a female today? Let me see. I smartened it. Well, I won't go there. But anyway, I smartened her up a little bit because she did start selling. I saw this on the Twitter. She started selling Jordan Grace t-shirts with her name crossed out and Butterface down below. And from what I understand, or what I'm being led to believe by the tweet that I read, the proceeds from that shirt will go to buy teachers I've had it for a while and I was trying to save it and then I lost it, so I can't read it, but I'll paraphrase. Basically, you know how sometimes teachers buy school supplies for their students because the kids, don't have the money and the school board doesn't have the money, so the teachers are chipping in to buy books and pencils and school supplies and stuff, right?
Yeah, not even sometimes, a lot of the time. Yeah.
Well, a lot of times. So she is using the proceeds from the Butterface t-shirt to go to the teachers who have to buy school supplies for the kids, which I actually think is a decent thing to do. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I lost the tweet and I don't know, and I don't want a Jordan Grace t-shirt. And I'm not just going to send Jordan Grace money, but if somebody out there can tell me where the link is or what the charity is or how I could donate directly, I would like to give $250 to the fund that raises money for the teachers buying school supplies for the students. And I will double that if Jordan Grace, because I understand that apparently she's a teacher part-time or she has been a teacher or whatever. She's not that old. She hadn't been wrestling yet long. Hopefully it won't be much longer. But if Jordan Grace will agree to quit wrestling and teach school full-time, then I'll double it to $500.
Well, hold on now. So you value her career at $250?
No, but if I gave what I value her career at, people would go, well, that cheap son of a bitch, right? So I'm boosting it up. But I'll give $250 regardless. If a cult member, somebody out there can alert me to where I can actually send it to a legitimate charity instead of a Jordan Grace, because I don't know her personally. But it sounds like a good cause there. So I'll give $250, but if she'll give up wrestling, since she obviously doesn't want to be a wrestler anyway, and she hates it because she wants to change the name of it, and feels it's being held back by being called a sport, you fucking, I'll double it to $500 if she'll get the fuck out of it.
Can we actually, real quick, just address what she actually said, though, the actual context of what she said? Let's discuss it should be called performance art and not pro wrestling. If we could just discuss that for a second. I think that is completely fucking stupid. And I know a lot of other people think it's really fucking dumb. I'm just curious what your take is.
I'm past really fucking dumb and really fucking stupid into, God damn it, just these insufferable male and female cunts and twats and fucking pieces of shit and gutless, spineless bitches that have to turn this into a goddamn joke. And I said last week, if the wrestling business is going to die, just let it die. Don't sodomize the fucking corpse on the way out to where an entire generation of people is going to remember that this is what pro wrestling was, this silliness and foolishness and nobody taking anything seriously and taking bumps for invisible men. And it's a performance art. And I'm a performance artist. So was G.G. Allen, Jordan. Go shit on some French fries. Leave my business alone. It's just, I get the same facial expression that Stan Lane did when he found out that there actually was a promotion using the Invisible Man. You look like somebody is sodomizing your child. I don't know what wrestling schools that these people did or did not go to, or what training they had that didn't instill this in them. I don't know why this whole attitude came about, that this is in some way acceptable, what they do. I mean, I thought we were going off the deep end 15, 20 years ago when everybody was doing all the stupid shit then, which at least we didn't have an invisible man. And at least the guys still considered themselves athletes and called themselves wrestlers. But now it's gotten to the, and once again, when did everybody become such a fucking offended pussy? I never got offended. If, you know, I was fat, even though, as we've mentioned, butterface doesn't mean fat. I was fat for a significant portion of my career. And if I got offended every time somebody yelled at me, "Hey, you fat fuck," well, I was too busy watching for people pulling knives out of their pockets to cut me and jumping over the cops to punch me in the face and willingly go to jail to worry about being insulted by being called names. These are professional wrestlers now, and they're so offended and they're so pussyish, the males and the females. Good fucking Christ. And I guess the one guy from England, maybe he wants Jordan Grace to fuck him. So he had to jump in and defend her to try to get some fucking points in some respect. But the men and the women, what the fuck? You little fucking fragile flowers would not have lasted 15 seconds in a fucking wrestling arena or a wrestling locker room. And now, because it's the goddamn equivalent of high school study hall in a fucking locker room, you walk in, all these guys on their fucking, and girls on their fucking phones texting each other in the same room and trying to figure out ways that they can do stupid shit to make people laugh in barns in front of fucking 14 people. So anyway, thank you, darling. You don't need to thank me. You're welcome for the gimmick that I got you. That now, if you use this name, people might actually know who you are. Says every time you establish a name, then you go ahead and change it. I heard, to be honest, somebody on Twitter said, "Oh, she's just using her real name because she just got married and she's so googly over it." What the fuck? Do you know the letter from the fabulous Moolah that I just read? You know how it was signed? Moolah. You think Abdullah the Butcher wrote guys' letters and signed it Larry?
When Carl Gotch met people, he shook their hand and said, "Gotch." He didn't go, "Hi, I'm Carl Istas."
Yeah. Gotch. What the I'm just and what help me, Brian, because you're in between. You're not as young as these fucking goofy twats, but you're younger than I am. Why would anyone imagine that I would not be offended? Why do they imagine that really anybody from the actual wrestling business of years ago isn't offended? It's just that some of them cover up for it because they want the payoff. But why would anybody think that I would not be offended at something like that? Why is that not offensive? What she said.
I'm pretty sure everyone knew right away that you would be offended by what she said.
Why wouldn't you if you're in the wrestling business or have been in the wrestling business? Not now. There's nothing to be proud of now. But why would anybody that's ever been in the wrestling business not be offended at something like that? And like I said, some of them just cover it up because they need the payoff. I don't know.
It's a sad state of affairs.
It's a sad situation, and it's getting more and more absurd. But anyway, so I wanted to clarify. $250 to the charity. I'll double it to $500 if she'll quit the business. And I know, once again, that's valuing her career at $250, but I'm making good money, so I've got the extra money to spend. I don't mind paying more than retail. What do you got?
I'm just picturing you sitting there drinking the tears again.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Well, I didn't mean for you to do the actual sound again.
All right, I won't. But
well, thank you.
Why do they think? Why do they think that they're upsetting me when they just show me that I'm right?
I don't know, but It seems like
I love to be right.
It seems
Everybody
like a good
that knows
move.
me, everybody knows me, knows that I love to be right, and so they continue to be.
You know, when you're a rock star, the best career move you could have is to die, because then your catalog starts selling. When you're an indie wrestler who may or may not suck, I've never seen this woman wrestle, the best thing to do for your career is to fight with you on Twitter, because then you'll get a contract. You will somehow get a contract out of that.
Well, yeah, because it goes back to the head cosplay wrestlers, you know, that are bilking the billionaire. They're naturally going to want to get people that will support them on their side. So the whole All Elite Wrestling roster is being built by basically virtue of me deciding which ones are the absolute worst, most offensive wrestlers in the world, and they get contracts. I don't know, but that's a great thing to do with your money when you got plenty of it. Tony, can't say anything bad about that.
It's his dad's money. It's not his money.
Well, it's all in the family.
It's all in the family.
By the way, Glenn Miller. Anyway,
the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made.
No, we're not doing this. We're not.
Those were the days.